What to look for when buying a 6.5 diesel. There's a few things to consider when you want another or a 6.5. First thing that you're going to have to consider is really, what do you want the 6.5 for? Are you going to want it for parts, or are you going to want it to do it up? Wherever you live, these trucks are they're going to be more valuable in some places, and they're going to be in better condition in some places than others. So with that there in mind, the price is going to fluctuate no matter where you're to. And the main thing you're going to have to look for, whatever diesel motor is, does it run? Does it run good? How many kilometers or miles is on this motor? Does it have blow-by? Does it leak oil? There's a few little problems that you actually might be able to get away with this here truck. Maybe it could be just as small as the sock in the fuel tank is actually clogged up. That's a very simple fix. Drop your tank, pull out your sending unit, check the little screen that's in the very bottom of that suction tube. Check your lift pump. You might just want to put a new lift pump on it anyways. Always ask the owner every possible question, even if you know what to look for. Say like, does the vehicle have any blow-by? Or does the engine have any blow-by? And if the owner goes, what is blow-by? That's probably not a good sign. So depending on who the person is, depending on if they know what the problem is or not, depending on what they say, you'll be able to stay away from the deal, negotiate a better deal. So we're going to do like a little bit of a walk around with my truck, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I wish I'd known. Besides for looking at the body, first let's look at the motor, because if the motor's no good, it's no point to have it unless you want to do a swap. So you look in here and you want to see how clean this is, and trust me, this is in the middle range of rotten and clean. Another thing that you're going to want to do is look for oil stains and oil spots. You can see all that there's oil that was being blown from the CDR valve. If there is a vacuum pump wastegate, a stock wastegate on this engine, you're going to want to make sure that it works. And first way they're going to be able to tell that there is if it's building boost. Now if you don't have a boost gauge, just rev it up a little bit and look at the smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe. These things should relatively put out little tiny puffs of smoke. Any more smoke, there's a reason behind it. And is the starter, for one, set up properly? Because these are supposed to have a bracket on the back of the starter. So you got two bolts per se, bolts that are right side by side like that and that. And then on the very tail end of the starter, say this here is where it engages with the flywheel, two bolts here, and then you got your bracket on the very back of it that's going to connect to the actual engine block itself. Next thing you're going to want to do is, as long as the truck already isn't running, you're going to want to start it up. So if it's running, come over here and you're going to want to check for blow-by. All you gotta do is just open that up. You should be able to see it. You might actually look down in the tube and you'll see a little wisp going around inside there, and this might not even be like reaching out here. You could haul the tube off that and there might be nothing there, and that's actually a really good sign. Sometimes you may actually get blow-by come out over here and then go into the store and you come back out and check it and then it'll be gone. It's probably because the valve inside the CDR is starting to stick. You can just see the top of it, well, the pulley right there, and in behind that one, in back of that belt, is actually where the harmonic balancer is. And the harmonic balancers are known to go bad. The pulleys are known to go bad because they have this rubber bushing that's in between the mounting part of the pulley and then the outer grooves for the belt of the pulley. There's a rubber piece in between that. It'll break free and it'll beat the bolts off, and then you'll end up twisting off, or breaking I should say, your crankshaft. Next thing you're going to do is go over and test that there, see how tight that is. Now normally with an engine that's like not building up pressure, you should be able to just, like, you might have to do 4 fingers, 2 fingers and the thumb, and just nip it. Like when it's running, that's pretty much the most you're going to get out of it. Simple signs of finding out if the heads are cracked is pressure in this here radiator hose, or she'll be spitting out white smoke all through the RPM range. I know that I don't have a problem with this because my radiator hose is fine. I'm not burning any coolant, and there's no bubbles showing up in the coolant tank. Make sure that the turbo doesn't have any play. For example, got my boost gauges right here. Just say right now, if this here was the compressor wheel inside the turbo, see that there has a little bit of play. Now for a turbo, if you had even that much, you're in trouble. Make sure there's no blow-by. Make sure the heads aren't cracked. Oh, and also the harmonic balancer and the oil cooler lines. And I also should add that I'm probably forgetting other things as well. So now let's look at the actual pickup itself. First things first, if you're down in Texas or somewhere around the states, you are not going to worry about rust. Not nearly as much as what we are here. You're going to see a lot of paints, you know, peeling off and stuff like that. You're going to see a lot of rust where I'm from. This chassis here is painted and all that there. I done all that myself with a lot of gravel guard. So when I first got this truck, the cab corners were completely gone. I could stick my hand in here and go into the cab practically. There was just a layer of foam that was protecting me from the inside the cab. This right here, a lot of dirt gets in behind here. I mean, like, look. That's my finger. And that was the outside from looking inside. So that's not very good. And also, on the rear part of the chassis of these trucks, up around there, and up around there, they actually tend to rust out very bad. And the rear cross member, if not mistaken, the tire's hiding it, that there gets really bad as well. And these little ribs, they can get bad pretty easy. All the way up here on the front passenger side, part of the chassis, in front of the swing arm, or the sway arm, I should say. You got to look right there and just see if there's any rot. Take a welding hammer to it if you got to. Give it a few taps. You can see that I've welded mine before. It was gone. I cut that much out, and then I had to fill some in with weld. If there ain't a hole drilled already, you're going to want to drill a hole to that little orange wire that you can see there. That's where the glow plug is, and that there's drill a hole in your inside fender at least. That there's the vacuum pump, the very faulty vacuum pump that runs the wastegate on the turbo that you should go buy a belt for a 93 or one off a Quadstar or Leroy or Heath Diesel. I believe he has them too. Go buy a belt for one of those trucks. They'll have specifications, so that way you'll be able to select and buy the right one. And then when you go to probably do the harmonic balancer, take off this here and put on that. You can buy the manual wastegate for these here trucks, or you can make them yourself out of the stock wastegate. It hasn't been going since yesterday sometime. It's definitely in the minuses right now, and I haven't had her plugged in. She got new 60G AC Delco glow plugs, new fuel filter, new lift pump, not really much. So now let's just start her up. That was cycle 1. Cycling the glow plugs twice because it's cold. She might not start. She will definitely sound like it, but I'll let the throttle off after some point, and then I'll re-primer the last time. She should fire up immediately. See how much smoke she blows out. As you can see, there's like little to no smoke coming out the stack. As soon as you start seeing smoke coming out that stack, is when she's going to fire up. Alright, so that was a cold 6.5 startup. You've seen a little bit of blow by. I don't know everything about the 6.5. I still learn something every day. But I will add that I do know a lot more now about a 6.5 than what I did when I first bought this truck. And a lot of these things that I found out is stuff that I wish I had known before I had even bought a 6.5. For any of you that have seen my last video about the exhaust brake, just testing it out, there will be more videos of the exhaust brake coming up. If I had forgot anything and you feel like it should be put out there, let me know. If you guys want to see more of these videos, you want to see more about the exhaust brake and all the other things I'm going to be doing in the future, just subscribe so that way you don't miss anything. Leave a comment, even if it's bad, I don't really care. and leave a like. And I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.